Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of these end times. This weekend, a brand new porn flick is opening called 50 Shades of Grey. And this is about perverted sex, domination, submission, BDSD, I believe they call it. And I am here to warn you, however, that it is not just about porn. It is also a message from the Illuminati about how they plan to bring America into bondage. And what's really interesting is that their plan, as described in this movie, 50 Shades of Porn, coincides exactly with Bible prophecy. But first, since I do not expect to see this movie, and probably most of you don't either, just so that we are all on the same page, I thought I would read a description of it from Wikipedia. 50 Shades of Grey is an erotic romance novel by British author E.L. James that traces the deepening relationship between a college graduate, Anastasia Steele, and a young business magnate, Christian Grey. Notice that name, Christian. That should be a clue right away that there are religious overtones to this story. It is notable for its explicitly erotic scenes, featuring elements of sexual practices involving bondage/discipline, dominance/submission, and sadism/masochism. A lot of slashes there, if you ask me. And now I thought I'd read the plot, a little bit of it anyway. Anastasia later meets Christian. Now this is after they have already had a sexual relationship, to discuss the contract, only to grow overwhelmed by the potential BDSM arrangement and the potential of having a sexual relationship with Christian that is not romantic in nature. And since they have already had a physical contact, this is not satisfactory to Christian Grey. He wants to dominate Anastasia, and that is his goal in the movie and the book. I believe they both have basically the same plot. But the interesting part is that this reflects perfectly a similar plot in the book of Revelation. In Revelation, we see this very famous scene of the whore of Babylon riding the scarlet beast. And of course, the whore of Babylon symbolizes primarily the United States. The scarlet beast symbolizes primarily Russia. And in the end, Russia turns the tables on the whore of Babylon and burns her with fire and leaves her naked and desolate. Very similar to what Christian Grey does to Anastasia in this 50 Shades of Grey. So now let's read from Scripture how St. John describes this relationship between the whore and the beast. Chapter 17, verse number 3. And he took me away in spirit into the desert, and I saw a woman sitting upon a scarlet-colored beast. Now, an angel is showing John this vision. And notice they go in the spirit into the desert. That means that both Babylon and the beast are in a spiritual desert. And that signifies that both Russia and America are in spiritual deserts. And also Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele are in a spiritual desert. The Illuminati understand Bible prophecy better than most Christians. In verse number 4, and the woman was full of the abomination and filthiness of her fornication. Well, Anastasia Steele is a fornicator. Verse number 5, and on her forehead a name was written, a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of the fornications and the abominations of the earth. Now, abominations in the Bible is a code name for homosexuality. So you see, this story in Revelation has a lot of sexual symbolism, just as 50 Shades of Grey. And there's no doubt that the United States spreads porn throughout the world. And that's why she is called the mother of fornications. In verse number 16, "And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these shall hate the harlot." In other words, Russia resents being dominated by the United States, "and shall make her desolate and naked." Once again, we see sexual symbolism both in the book of Revelation and in this new porn movie. "And shall eat her flesh and shall burn her with fire." And now the end of the story in both 50 Shades of Grey and in the book of Revelation is similar. And in chapter 18, verse 23, "And the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in you." And this is following the burning with fire of Babylon by the scarlet beast. In other words, once America is burned with fire in 1 hour by Russia, people won't be getting married, they will be trying to stay alive. And neither can there be a true marital relationship between Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele once he dominates her. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of skeptics out there who do not believe this movie is about the fall of the United States. But let's look at that title. Why do you suppose there are 50 shades? Why not 70 Shades of Grey, or 30 Shades of Grey, or 10 Shades of Grey? There are 50 shades because there are 50 United States. And why are they shades? Why not tones of gray, or hues of gray, or tints of gray? And the reason is because SHADES is very similar to STATES. And why the color gray? Why isn't his name Christian Brown, or Christian Green, or Christian Black? And the reason is because after America is burned with fire in 1 hour, we will be an ashen gray, not green or black. Now, one final note. During my 6+ years here on YouTube, I have received many messages from some of you that you have a problem with pornography. Believe me, the people in Hollywood, they don't care. They are in it for the money. But Mary does care. And you can pray a Hail Mary to help you out of your addiction. And for you, my skeptics, please don't try and tell the thousands of cripples who have left their crutches at Lourdes that praying to Mary does not produce miracles. And if you would like more information about my ministry, please visit my ThirdEagleMedia.com website. And be sure to click on the Zechariah tab. Download those 4 PDF files, because on my website I have unsealed the prophecies of both Daniel and Zechariah.